All right. The MAGA movement, the conservative base, Republicans in general are the biggest bunch of terrified titty babies that live in abject fear at all times. These people try to project strength. Oh, we're alphas, we're big boys, we're tough broads that support our man. It's all hogwash. These people are the biggest grouping of absolute titty babies I've ever seen in my life. And I'm going to play for you a montage from the Instagram account, Now This Impact, that shows you just how easily Fox is triggered by, and Fox and their base, they're all of their viewers triggered by cartoons and movies. Play the clip.
Go to the movie theater to be lectured to and to have somebody throw their ideology onto us. I wonder if it'll be successful.
You know what it says on his cape? MS-13.
Wow.
Is it superimposed or it actually says that?
My Little Pony is going woke. Netflix's new movie, My Little Pony, The Next Generation, teaches its viewers about themes like tolerance, prejudice, and even fascism.
The woke idea of making all the superheroes a group of fully diverse females beating people up as if they're guys was based on the assumption that there is an audience for that.
A lot of parents out there, their kids are excited about the Barbie movie. Thanks for the warning that this is really just another indoctrination vehicle.
So from the wild world of woke, the new Snow White live action production from Disney.
I've watched a lot of Disney Junior over the last couple of years. Of course. It is amazing the amount of subtle and not so subtle left-wing messaging that you get.
It was banned in several places because it features a same-sex kiss scene, leading some conservatives to blame what they call the movie's woke agenda.
Okay, I want you to notice that they talk about subtle messaging and they talk about like tolerance and justice.
Yeah.
These people are terrified of equality, but I want to point out this is the Freedom Party with freedom. Everybody hates us because we're so free in America. You dipshits, you don't have to watch My Little Pony if it scares the shit out of you. I mean, if you're too big of a pussy to watch My Little Pony and you're too big of a pussy to watch Superman, don't fucking watch it. But instead they get on here and they terrify their audience. And I guess these people just get all worked up over My Little Pony. I've never seen a bigger group of titty babies, terrified little titty babies in my life. The fact that this even gets any momentum on any news network whatsoever tells me that the 77 million that voted for Donald Trump must just live in terror. They're scared of drag queens. They're scared of books. They're scared of My Little Pony. They're scared of liberals that want to, give people health care. They're terrified of somebody who speaks Spanish. It's just so pathetic how this right-wing MAGA movement lives in so much fear.
Well, and they're angry. They're so fucking mad because they are so scared that white men won't always be on the top of the food chain. Women are advancing. Minorities are advancing. Same-sex marriage is legal. They're having babies. They're building families. They don't like it because white men are not at the top, and it grosses me out. And Pete Hegseth, the reason you watch My Little Pony is because you're drunk and have a brain of a 5-year-old, in my opinion.
Drunk ass. Pete,
get your drunk ass in there and watch My Little Pony.
My woke
when he's
little
fucking
pony.
One of his girlfriends and his wife comes home, she forces him to watch My Little Pony.
They're watching woke My Little Pony. What a pussy. Pete Hegseth this. Okay, next up we have a video of Jesse Waters. Play the clip.
Has this ever happened to you, Jesse? Winning against
me?
Yeah.
Emma, but not me. No, she doesn't Photoshop, but she does things, I think. I don't know. Actually, she doesn't. She doesn't.
Right, of course.
You know how women do. They do stuff. Rules for men. Paris. A man should never Photoshop his picture, ever.
Ever.
A man who Photoshops his picture is a woman. And you never shrink your hips. Why is he shrinking his hips? Does he have childbearing hips? What is it about his hips that he's uncomfortable with? That's the question.
Jamie.
Okay, a man that Photoshops his photos is a woman, per Jesse Waters, who spends an inordinate amount of time talking about masculinity. I've never quite seen anything like it. But please put up this post, Kylie, of what the President of the United States posted. Here we have at Real Donald Trump posting a photoshopped image of himself with muscles, no gut, no man boobs, looking younger. The whole body is tan and not just, 80% of his face. And so, this is what this world lives in. It's like, okay, they want, and Hakeem Jeffries, that's what they were talking about at first. His video, his photo that he posted where he's leaning up against the fence trying to be cool. Hakeem, stop it. Go out and join the movement of Bernie Sanders and Zoran Mamdani and AOC and get rid of your corporate interests. And whoever's running your social media, fire them immediately. Quit. That looks stupid. But Jesse Waters just walks right into it because there's always a tweet with Trump. There's always a post with Trump. And I've never seen a more homoerotic movement than the MAGA movement. They're calling Trump daddy. There's all this Photoshop stuff of him. And then they're just so obsessed with gay sex, the MAGA movement. I've hung out with gay men my entire life. And they talk about sex quite a bit, but not like the MAGA men. MAGA men are full-blown, full-on obsessed with this masculinity and gay sex. It's really bizarre.
What strikes me about all this stuff is how married to gender roles Fox News and their followers are. Women take care of the babies. They stay at home. Men, they're hunter-gatherers. And Jesse Waters talking about masculinity when his eyeliner is so thick, it could take your head off. But one thing that I wasn't aware of I just thought Trump's ego and narcissism made him post all this stuff. But then I learned that authoritarians, part of the playbook is to be this big, strong man. That's why Putin posts without a shirt on. So this is Donald Trump signaling falsely, because we know he's a fat ass, that he's a big, strong man and he can protect you. And that is part of fascism and authoritarianism. And that is terrifying because Jesse Waters, we've seen him sashay down the halls. He has no business talking about masculinity, in my opinion.
All right. Next up, the IRS is now allowing the mingling of church and state. Pop this up. The IRS just said churches can endorse political candidates from the pulpit in a landmark court filing. That means tax dollars will subsidize political sermons and will gut the separation of church and state. Churches are now officially campaign headquarters. Okay, let's check in with the MAGA churches. Next up. An Indiana church stands by call to execute gay people. The preacher of this Baptist church in Indiana says the following: I think they should be put to death. You know what? I'll go further. I think they should be beaten in public first for all their sick and demented, just uses a slur word, and the things they're doing to our schools, to our government, to our institutions, to our churches. These people should be beaten and stomped in the mud, and then they should take a gun and blow the back of their heads off. This is not happening in isolation. About a month ago, we covered an Oklahoma Baptist preacher who also called for the execution of homosexuals. And what I'm seeing in this country is a rise of homophobia that's barely addressed by politicians at all, because they all want to wag the dog and tell you there's a rise in anti-Semitism. And while that is true, and anti-Semitism is very real, what they're falsely recognizing is an American public that is clued in, and there has been a rise in war crimes of the government of Israel. And so what I have to say about this is Israel uses the argument that we have to support them in their fight against Palestinians because Palestinians are not nice to gay people. Well, neither is MAGA. Neither is fucking MAGA. We have our own problems. We have our own shit going on here. And there is just an abhorrent rise of homophobia in this country. Kylie, our lesbian producer, all of her friends that she used to hang out with every weekend that live in the state of Oklahoma, they're leaving because the governor and the superintendent of school are such blatant homophobes, and they allow this type of homophobia to go. And now guess what? The government's going to allow it, and they can just start making them full-blown MAGA indoctrination camps. It's abhorrent. It's disgusting. The Baptist Church, for the record, lots of child abuse cover up. These places are the most dangerous place you can send your child, full stop. The last place you'd want your child to go if you live in the United States of America is some youth camp, youth group at some evangelical church. They're wrought with PEDOSs from top to bottom, start to finish, complete nightmares.
I look at this and I want to ask Brother Wayne. If I had a chance to ask him, I would say, how do you feel about Sharia law? And he would be, he'd be so anti-Sharia law. But explain to me, Brother Wayne, the difference. What's the difference? Because in my mind, you can't get a piece of paper between them.
Well, there is no difference. There's absolutely no difference. And so that's why this Israel subject becomes a thing. Their argument for us to support their provocations in the Middle East is because they stand for democracy. And that Palestinians, if they're gay, are just thrown off the top of a building, et cetera, et cetera. Well, if you live in a red state in the United States of America, you are abundantly aware of the rise of just straight up racism that seems to have completely, it's always been there, but now it's even exploding more. And the rise of homophobia, transphobia, and all of these things. And so my question is, so it's okay if people that give you lots of money to pay for a lot of your bombs are homophobic and racist and all of those things. It's the cherry picking of all of this that bugs the shit out of me. Okay, next up, this is just how MAGA continues to live. And I put this in here because this is how MAGA politicians keep their base engaged, is by just stupid, low IQ, low hanging fruit posts like this. Pop this up. This is a representative in the House of Representatives, and her name is Mary Miller. And she says, in America, we speak English. And that goes for truck drivers, construction workers, factory employees, store clerks, delivery drivers, warehouse crews, and everyone in between. If you live and work here, you should speak the language of our country. This shit right here, the reason why I put this up is for our international listeners to understand this shit goes so hard in MAGA bases. It never even enters their mind that, wow, this person is, a Spanish speaker, but they can also conversationally kind of carry their own a little bit with English. Instead, if there's an accent, rural Americans, and even suburban Americans be like, why aren't you speaking English? And they're so stupid, they don't even understand that English is derived from the UK. They think it's a language indigenous to the United States of America. And I'm not fucking kidding. That's how ethnocentric Americans are.
I just look at her and I think, you are such a twat. What a complete asshole. And you're right. It hits so hard because nobody appreciates diversity in MAGA. You have to be white. That's it. That's the list.
All right. And then lastly, I just want to point out what a moron the governor of Texas is and how unhelpful he is and what a piece of shit this guy is. Put this up. Prayer could have been the reason why water stopped rising. No, it absolutely had fucking nothing to do with prayer. It had zero to do with prayer. Stop with the religion and mixing it with science and government. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. If that's your Lord and personal Savior, Jesus, fucking help people, Abbott. Help people, MAGA, but you don't want that. There is a cruelty to it that you like. You enjoy seeing human suffering. We're all on to it. I just hope that we make it to the midterms because I'm just telling you, all the shit that I'm seeing Trump do and all the shit that I'm seeing his administration do, I have massive hesitation that we make it to the midterms. And I don't think the Democrats are taking this threat nearly serious enough. All right, that's all we have. We'll see you all later.